In this video, we're going to take a look at percent application. And we're going to be doing that by finding the percent. So sometimes we are given information and we have to determine what the percent is. So in the following problems, the percent is what is going to be missing. So we're going to use this percent proportion to solve the following problems. So a few things about the different parts of this proportion is the number with the percent sign is always going to go here. And in this case, it's going to be missing in these problems. And this denominator underneath that percent number is always going to be 100. That's what represents the percent. And then up here is going to be the part. And the part is a lot of times represented by the word is. And then down here for the denominator is the whole, because remember, a percent is a part to whole relationship. And the whole is a lot of times represented by the word of in our problems. So let's take a look at this problem here. It says 13 is what percent of 100? Well, if I'm setting up my percent proportion, kind of like what I see right here, I don't know what my percent is because right here's the question, what percent? So I'm trying to find my percent number, and I know that this is always 100. And again, this is my part up here, and we always said that that is represented by the word is. Well, right here it says 13 is, so that means my 13 is going to go here, and we said the whole is going to go be my denominator here, and that a lot of times is represented by the word of. Well, right here says of 100, so that means I would put my 100 right here. And now to figure what this is going to be, I would take 13 times 100, and that would give me 1,300. And then my other 100 is left over down here. So I would take my 1,300 and I'm going to divide it by 100, and that gets me back to 13. So my answer here would be 13%. And I need to make sure I get that percent sign or percent label after my answer. So here's another problem. So again, set up my proportion. And again, looking for the percent because it says what percent. So again, and that we said that's always over 100. And again, my part, a lot of times represented by the word is. So again, here it says 364 is. So 364 would be here. And then we said the whole, a lot of times, is represented by the word of. So here's of 455. So my 455 would be here. And again, I'm going to use cross multiplication. So I multiply across here. So I would take 364 and multiply it by 100. And that would give me 36,400. And then I would take my 36,400 and I'm going to divide it by the other number here that's left over, which is 455. And that gives me a total of 80. And so my answer would be 80%. So here it says, what percent of 272 and a half is 109? So again, setting up my proportion. Again, looking for what percent. So I put my percent here, and we said this is always 100. Part, a lot of times, is represented by the word is. Well, in this time, it said is 109. So my 109 is going to go here. And it said the whole, a lot of times, is represented by the word of. So here is of 272 and a half. So that would go right down here. And again, cross multiply. I would take 109 and multiply it by 100, and that would give me 10,900. And then I take my 10,900 and divide it by my other number here, 272 and a half. And that gives me an answer of 40. So I would have 40%. So again, set up my proportion. Again, this is always 100. It says what percent. So I put my percent sign here because that's what I'm looking for. And again, part, a lot of times represented by the word is. Well, it said is 95. So I put my 95 here. And again, whole a lot of times represented by the word of. So it says of 500. So now again, I cross multiply. Take 95 times 100. And that gives me 9,500. And then I take my 9,500 and I divide it by the 500 that's left here. And that gives me a total of 19. So my answer would be 19%. So now I have more of a story problem that I need to take a look at. So it says the sixth grade class held an end of the year talent show. Of the 300 sixth graders, 246 decided to attend. What percent of the sixth grade class attended the talent show? So again, my question says, what percent? So again, I'm looking for the percent. So I'd set up my percent proportion, just like I've been doing with the other ones. And now I need to figure out what my part is and what my whole is. So it says right here, of the 300 sixth graders. So that's my whole amount. That's how many total sixth graders I have. And again, my key is kind of the of here. And then the part is the group that decided to attend, which is right here. But notice this time there is the word is not there. So I have to kind of infer based on the information that's given. And I can tell that this is the part because these are the group that decided to attend. So my 246 would go here. And again, I would cross multiply. So I'd have 246 multiplied by 100. That gives me 24,600. Take my 24,600 and I divide that by my 300, which is what I have here. And that gives me a total of 82. So my answer would be 82% of the sixth grade class attended the talent show. So here it says in Mrs. Stone's class, 18 out of 22 students turned in their homework on time. What percent of the class turned in their homework on time? So again, my question is asking what percent. So setting up my proportion. Now again, I need to find the part and the whole. Well, again, here it says of 22 students. So this of is kind of the key word to say 22 is going to go here. And it says 18 out of. So that's the part that's turning in their homework. And now I would cross multiply. 18 times 100 would give me 1,800. I take my 1,800, divide it by my 22 here. And when I do that, I get 81 and then decimal 81, 81, 81, and that continues. So my percentage that I would have here would be 81 and 81 with a line over it because again that line means repeating percent. Angelica took a spelling test with 15 problems and she got 14 problems correct. What percent of the problems did she get correct? So again, it's looking for what percent. So again, set up my proportion here, and I'm looking for my part and my whole. Well, here I don't see the words is or of, so that's not going to really help me. But it said the spelling test with 15 problems. So that's the total number of problems that the spelling test had. So I would put my 15 here, and she got 14 correct. So my 14 would be the part or the amount that she got correct. So then I multiply here, take 14 times 100, and that gives me 1,400. I take my 1,400 and I divide it by my 15, which is right here. And that gives me 93. And then my threes continue to repeat. And so my answer would be 93.3 with a line over it for repeating. And then my percent sign. Coach Thomas has a player who made 9 free throws out of 15 tries. To make the team, a player must be able to make 65% of their free throws. Will this player make the team? So again, I need to figure out what my percent is. So set up my proportion here. So percent over 100 equals, well, they made 9 free throws out of 15 tries. So that would put my 15 here and my 9 made up here. So I take 9 and multiply it by 100. That gives me 900. And I take my 900 and I divide it by my 15, which is my number right here. And that gives me a total of 60. And so they made 60% of their free throws. And to make the team, the player must be able to make 65%. So will this player make the team? No, this player will not make the team. They've got to make a few more free throws.